Why your kid shuts down every time something gets hard. Your kid faces a challenge and they shut down immediately, and you think, where's this come from? If they're saying I can't before they've even tried, this might be what's happening. Now, this usually comes down to two things. They're getting distracted, they're not paying attention, and you can't keep them still for a second. Or they're getting frustrated, overwhelmed, and not even willing to face a challenge. Now, the first one happens because the challenge that they're facing is often too easy. That whatever they're facing just doesn't give them any challenge or fulfillment. It's too easy, so I'm not going to pay too much attention because I know the reward's not going to be there from having an effective challenge that's going to test me and allow me to grow. Now, in the other cases where the challenge is just too difficult, and you'll see the kids, they shut down, they don't even want to try. It's because they know that they will fail, and failure isn't a nice feeling. Now, I don't want to feel it, you don't want to feel it, and I can guarantee your kid doesn't like failure either. So what we need to do is we need to find that middle ground, and this is what I call a controlled challenge. Now, in martial arts, we have built systems for a reason, and it's not just to give the kids praises and rewards for their efforts. It's also to be able, as a coach, to look at each kid and diagnose where they're at in their stage. So I'm not going to go up to a kid that is a white belt and expect them to do black belt level tasks because they're going to face that challenge and it's going to be too overwhelming. They're going to get frustrated. They're not going to want to come because it was unrealistic for them to achieve in the first place. Now, I'm not going to go to a black belt and get them doing white belt level tasks because they need to face that higher challenge to be able to test them, keep them fun, and continue to grow. And that's why your kid is avoiding challenge, because they either see that it's too easy and they don't want to do it because they're going to get bored, they're going to get tired of it, they're going to get distracted, so they don't even try in the first place. Or they see it and they're like, that's going to be too difficult. It's not fun. It's way too challenging, and I know that the reward isn't actually achievable. So why do I even try? And it's hard as a parent or a coach to be able to find where that control challenge sits. I would always recommend starting at the easier point, giving them a challenge that they're able to succeed. And if you find that it was way too easy or they're too distracted, we up that challenge. We get a little bit more fast paced, a little bit more difficult, but we still give it the ability that after 1 or 2 tries that we're going to be able to achieve that. It's not going to take 10, 11, 100 tries to be able to achieve it, because I'm going to give up before doing 10. And you're going to see that threshold's going to grow. The kids are willing to face more of a challenge, to put more effort into it, to be able to achieve that result. But that's evidence-based. You got to give the kids challenges, show them that if you put a bit of effort into it, you'll be able to get that result. If you give a kid a challenge that takes a few tries, that's going to take a bit of time straight away, they're going to put a little bit of time in and realize that I am unable to do this and give up. So progressively, as I coach, I give them a bigger challenge, and the gap gets wider, the effort increases, and then eventually they're able to do hard things. They're able to put themselves in challenge that takes time. There's no instant gratification, but we give that easy control challenge and we build it as we go. Now you might be thinking, how am I supposed to know where that control balance is? Now here's where the activity comes in. We want to find an area that they're challenging. Now, you might be aware of one already, but I would always recommend to let them tell you what they're struggling with, because you might think they're struggling with something, but they're honestly just not interested in that area. And we want them to work on challenges that are going to give them satisfaction, going to allow self-fulfillment, and allow them to grow in areas that they want to continue to pursue. So you can ask your kid, what is one challenge that you're facing? We can word this in different ways, depending on what their age is. What's something that's really difficult? What's something that's hard? If they're older, what's a challenge you're facing? What's something you want to achieve? And what we're going to do is we're going to get 3 levels. And we're going to get them to tell us what the challenge is. So we get the topic, let's say it's riding a bike. So we write down riding a bike, and then we got that 3 levels. So what we're going to ask them is, what would be too easy if we were to ride a bike right now? Now, they might say a walking bike. If you've got young kids, the ones without the pedals and they're just walking, that might be too easy. Then we find the middle ground. And if they're struggling to find that solution of what we currently should be working on, that's when we can start to intervene and give suggestions, allow them to come up with the idea after just provoking some suggestions. And the middle ground might be a bigger bike with training wheels. And we want to break this down in different parts of our life. Another example might be attention. If your kid is struggling with sitting down, they might have ADHD, they're super active, you might be like, what's an amount of time that you can put effort into? They're like, oh, 1 minute. I can sit down for 1 minute. And then you say, what's too hard? They might say 10 minutes is too hard. That's when they get stimulated or frustrated and they want to give up. So then we ask them, do you think you could sit down and concentrate for 3 minutes? Instead of trying to get them to do tasks for 10, 15 minutes and getting frustrated and not paying attention, we just do 3 minutes. And then next time we can try for 4 and 5 and progressively overload that time frame. But we don't want to go too hard. We don't want to go too early because they're just going to give up. So drop a comment. Let me know how it went. Let me know how that actual discussion went with your kid, thinking what was too hard and what was too easy. Did you find that middle ground easily? And then was your kid able to execute that? Or did you find that they were maybe too ambitious, or maybe they went too easy with what they actually thought they could do? The more we do this, the more we can refine what's actually that control challenge. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.